Your appearance matters. It does matter. Sometimes in the mid 2000s, I was helping to coordinate a group of youths in a parish, and it was a Saturday. We had some games, and we just decided to meet, play games together, have some sort of bonding, and be able to know ourselves better. So, shortly after the games, as we were leaving to go home, some two very old women who looked very confused walked up to us and they needed some direction. They were apparently lost. The interesting thing is that they walked past the first guy and they went to speak to another young man. So after they've sought their direction and they've gone their way, the first guy came to me and he said, "Why on earth did the two women walk past him only to go and ask for direction from another guy who was some distance away from him?" I looked at him and the only thing that occurred to me was that I think you you are just not properly dressed. And as we were talking about it, the women looked back and they said yes, they were not comfortable asking you for direction because of the way you are dressed. We just are not comfortable. The guy felt so bad, but I took my time to encourage him and to advise him to always look his best, to ensure that he dresses for where he's going and not where he's coming from. Because whether we like it or not, people engage us based on how they perceive us, and people perceive us based on how we dress, how we speak, and most times how we make them feel. But dressing is very, very important. Dressing is important. About 10 years down the line, we all have left. I mean, that was in Ibadan, and we all had left. I mean, life had taken people in diverse ways, and I recall that I was to put one of my cars on Uber, and I needed to have a review of the car. I needed to take it to a garage to get it certified and fit for purpose. So as I drove into the garage on a fateful afternoon, um, a young man came to me and he said, "No, I should go on a different queue, which was supposed to be for the they call it priority queue, which was supposed to be for some sort of high class services, or I really cannot remember." And I drove into that queue. I just obeyed, and then he said, "Oh, okay, I should come out of the car and sit in the lounge. They also have a lounge where you can sit while your car is being checked and certified." So I went into the lounge and I sat down. And then this young guy walked up to me and he said, "Sir, do you know me?" I said, "No, I'm sorry, I can't recognize you." He said, "Really?" I said, "Yes." Then I looked at him again and then it all came back to me and I said, "Ah, this is you." And then he said, "Sir, you know what? I need to tell you a story about yourself today." And he went and he got all the guys that were working with him. He was apparently a owner of the garage and then he was the manager of that garage. So he got all the boys that worked with him, about six or eight of them. And he then told them the story of the two old women who refused to ask him for direction 10 years ago. And that he also told them how I encouraged him and I made him understand that people perceive us a whole lot the way we are dressed. They also tend to care about the things we say and how exactly we put this across to them. So he then told the staff that I'm the reason he dresses well today. That was a very emotional session for me that day. I really looked at him and I was very impressed. He was clean shaven, black pants, white shirt, rolled his sleeves just to represent the workshop that he works. And he asked me that could I have recognized him if I met him on the road. And honestly, I would not have. But he thanked me for slowing down to encourage him on that fateful day. And that since then, he has never looked back. He's been an ambassador of ensuring that he dresses for where he's going in life and not necessarily for where he's coming from. That day, I realized that the young man did not change because the two women made him feel bad. He changed because someone decided to explain to him, albeit very gently, or why he needed to appear his best. How we dress does not necessarily define our value, but introduces us just before we speak. It answers questions people may not even ask. It opens doors we do not even know about. The same young man who looked unapproachable on a football field, but years later, his appearance announced him as a leader and a professional, a man of discipline and self respect. And that moment, I learned another lesson too. You may forget the advice you give, but the person who receives it may build their future on it. So when we talk about dressing well, it's not about pride, it's not about labels, it's simply about intent. My name is Iyola Folayan. I just love to make leadership make sense.